Time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the noise. Get back to the mental lab.
This orc is a way of saying, I'm sorry for squandering time, for being too hard on yourself, and for ruining your chances of achievement. I mean, come on. If you're here watching this video, you must be absolutely exhausted. Just being ordinary isn't cutting it anymore.
There comes a day where being average, being mediocre is just sickening to you. It's just sickening. It makes you want to throw up.
Also, feel free to skip this video if that's not your thing. See, we have to unveil our 2.0 selves now. The self that, through thick and thin, remains steadfast in the pursuit of ambition. That one that's scared but goes ahead and does it anyhow. Also, the self that doesn't hesitate to dive headfirst into achieving our objectives. For much too long, I, too, was stuck in this period. When I make goals for myself, I tend to put them off till later. I let myself get caught up in bad habits instead of working on the things that would have made my life better. For some, this may feel like an escape. For fear of ridicule, I put off pursuing my life's most meaningful ambitions. I was the type of person who would say they will accomplish a goal, but never really do anything about it. I was so easily sidetracked that I was unable to settle down and get any work done. I would simply inhale some inexpensive dopamine the moment I sensed any resistance to the endeavor. But I've now come to the conclusion that I've had enough. For example, how much longer must we sit around discussing our objectives before we actually accomplish something? Think about it. What could possibly be worse? What a terrible burden it is to reach the end of life and learn that every moment was filled with regret. Alternatively, the anguish of relishing in a challenging activity that would bestow upon you a feeling of personal fulfillment. You already know the answer, so I'll tell you how we're going to become the best versions of ourselves after our biggest comeback ever. Now is the moment for 2.0. For the sake of your own growth, you must vanish for a few months. No, I mean it like Sasuke Uchiha. Not in an emo anti-social way. Refer to an Avenger with a singular focus on his goals. Sasuke was crafted with this trait in mind. My ambition is not just a pipe dream. I intend to see it through to fruition. To sum up, when Sasuke was a kid, his older brother Itachi slaughtered his whole clan. Because of this, Sasuke devoted his entire childhood and teenage years to training in an effort to gain strength and eliminate Itachi. But his lack of strength led to his defeat when he encountered Itachi. In his quest for strength, he spent countless hours exercising and eventually abandoned his town. He was successful in that regard. Finally, he prevailed over Itachi. But in reality, he didn't care because Itachi's sickness was certain to claim his life regardless. But then Sasuke learns that Itachi was told to kill his clan by the villagers' elders so the tranquility might remain in their hamlet. And when Sasuke found out about this, he felt an overwhelming want to do something. He would stop at nothing to achieve power and punish the aristocratic community for killing his family. The arc that shows us the attitude values we may adopt from Sasuke to pursue our goals in the next 6 months is the Team Taka arc, named after the unit he assembled to finish his mission. I won't sugarcoat it. Sasuke is a bit of a threat in this arc, a determined, focused, infinitely powerful machine. Sasuke has a mindset that will not abide any nonsense at this stage. Increasing his strength is his sole goal. But this mentality quality that Sasuke possessed was as the sole thing that distinguished him from the other characters. We must adopt it, launch an assault. With unshakable self-assurance, Sasuke assaulted each aim. Whatever his fear of facing a stronger opponent may have been, it was irrelevant. In an assault, he acted. Against every one of his targets, he launched an assault. At every chance, he pounced. He was never one to whine about how difficult his work was. He was unconcerned, since achieving his objective was more important to him than any short-term benefit. He was completely focused on succeeding and was prepared to do whatever it took to get there. You need to take action in order to achieve your goals. You will not accomplish anything if you spend all day arguing over your objectives. Gaining momentum is the key to achieving success. With an aggressive frame of mind, you can gain that momentum. You must enhance your life in every way for the next 3 months. To rephrase, you need to start from scratch. A strong routine should be established as a first step. It may sound like trite advice for bettering oneself, but I had no idea how effective a routine might be until I established one. Building self-assurance is the result of eating the frog or performing your hardest chore for the day first thing in the morning, once you've established a regular wake-up time. For that reason, it is said that if you win the morning, you win the day. If you maintain this winning streak, you will eventually win the year. Throughout the day, the enthusiasm that started in the morning continues to build. Furthermore, self-assurance grows exponentially when one reliably follows through on daily commitments and achieves their stated goals. In my case, I take an ice bath and hit the gym first thing in the morning at 6 o'clock. The tone for the day is instantly set by this. You are ready to take on the remainder of your day's objectives since you have a renewed sense of self-assurance. I no longer harbor the unconscious resentment that I formerly did against my own lack of initiative and productivity. Basically, the most effective course of action is to simply go with the flow of the morning ritual.
I make a beeline for sunlight. The single best thing you can do for your sleep, your energy, mood, wakefulness, metabolism is to get natural light in your eyes early in the day. I hydrate, I drink water, then I do caffeine about 90 to 120 minutes after waking.
You've had your light in the eyes. What have you been doing between that and the yerba mate 90 minutes?
I try and do something challenging. I generally will then do some sort of physical workout.
And you're taking yourself up until 10:30, 11 a.m., something like that?
Yeah, and then I'll eat my first real meal.
Could you describe your morning ritual? I will have my first proper meal after that. How certain people manage to have that zero-fucking-given attitude and not care what other people thought has always baffled me. The only way I've found to get into that frame of mind is to force myself to accomplish something challenging on a daily basis. For example, I woke up this morning and had an ice bath because the weather was so cold. Even though it was horrible at the time, I'm much more comfortable now. Before I went in, I was anxious and made up reasons to bail. But after I did it, I felt incredible self-confidence for conquering my fear. So, challenge yourself by doing something you've never done before. These methods and ideas have been helpful to me. But please don't assume I'm perfect. I am still learning. Although I used to be rather good at putting things off till later, I've noticed that I've been doing much better lately. My newfound knowledge of productivity tricks is the reason behind that. The best books and podcasts I've ever listened to gave me these revolutionary concepts. I cut out carbohydrates until after dinner and started going without food till lunchtime. Fasting keeps your mind fresh, and cutting off carbs prevents that drowsy sensation after a meal.
Also an advantage to keeping insulin. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you go to zero carbohydrate. My preferred way of eating is to go low or no carbohydrate throughout the day for alertness, get that adrenaline release and the focus that goes with it, etc., the ability and think and move and do all the things I need to do during the day, and then I eat carbohydrates at night to facilitate.
Now that I'm getting real dopamine from exercising and accomplishing my goals, etc., I no longer indulge in cheap dopamine, and this has effectively reduced my procrastination. Basically, after you eliminate the easy ways to receive dopamine, the only way to replace them is with challenging and rewarding activities. Listen, you need to be self-controlled as you make a full recovery. I think this is something that everyone finds difficult. I recently heard something incredibly impactful. but I'm currently working on improving my skills in this area. In other words, your approach to each task determines your approach to all tasks, meaning you'll replicate your failure in other areas of life if you say you're going to perform 8 reps in that set but only manage 7. Therefore, you need self-control to see the project through to completion. If you want to reach your personal objectives in this arc, you need to work on your physique by hitting the gym regularly, and your knowledge by reading up on your subject and listening to informative podcasts. Finally, you need to change your perspective in order to finish the recovery. What gives you the right to live as if you weren't the man? What about the other option? Sure, don't act like a total orphan, but believe in yourself and what you can do. To get where you want to go in life, you need to start taking more chances. Take a look at the most accomplished athletes and famous personalities who have served as an inspiration to you. Such a vicious mentality has taken root in these individuals. They always have faith in themselves.
Is there any limit to your ambition?
No.
Or any limit to what you think you can achieve?
No, because I think right now, if I was to quit rapping and I say I want to go to the NBA, I would be in the NBA.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
Why would you think you could make it to the NBA?
Because I think I could.
Plus, you have the ability to channel your own personal struggles into a source of strength and achieve your goals. Realize that you can channel your suffering into strength training, regardless of what has been burdening you. Keep in mind that this is the storyline of the return. Peace